We're going to do a little bit more focus on active exhale today. Let me just click go live on here. There we go. Yeah, we should be... It all takes a bit to clunk into gear. That's live. I think that's live, or is it live or not? I don't know. It's definitely live on Facebook and YouTube. Good morning if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. Instagram is getting there, so it should come on in a minute. Morning, welcome. We're going to do some more of an active breathwork session this morning. So with that in mind, bearing in mind contraindications, if you have any blood pressure issues, if you've got any cardiovascular issues, if you're pregnant, trying to get pregnant, anywhere where we do maybe any stronger breath holds or do more active exhales, just stay clear of that. None of this should be forceful. Some of it will be challenging, but it shouldn't feel forced, or you shouldn't be overreaching or pushing too much. So let's start off with a little bit of stretching and mobilization. So coming up to your standing position. Jump on the camera there. And knocking, always a good one to get the spine mobilized. Gently breathing in and out through the nose. So just normal, natural breathing now. Christine's joining on Zoom. Good morning. Remember, keeping that spine long, keeping the head balanced on top of the spine. Softening into the ankles, softening into the knees, softening into the hips. Relaxing shoulders and between the shoulder blades. Just letting the elbows bend, so you're just tapping across the belly, across the back. Slowing down now into water waves. Softening into the fingers, the wrists, the elbows. Feel that spiral through the fingers, through the wrists, through the elbows, through the shoulders. And just keeping the breathing gentle, soft, in and out through the nose. And then take a rest standing tall. Let's just bring our feet hip width, so you can take a moment to balance. Yeah, Tom's got his Breathe Balance Move t-shirt on. Yes. I've forgotten about the black one's nice. I normally wear the red one, but that black one is good. Step your feet out again. We'll do spinal cord. This is the in breath as we're bringing the elbows and elbows back, opening up the chest. The out breath, we're just going to do that lengthen out. So you go into a little bit of a squat, you lengthen out. It's almost like not flattening the back, but we're not rounding the back or dropping the head. So nice and long through the spine. So in breath, opening up. out breath. And then just follow your breathing. Again, it's a little bit more challenging in terms of strength, so just go at your own comfortable pace. Expanding as you breathe in, lengthening as you breathe out. Let's do one more. And then take a rest. Yep, shake out a little bit if you need to shake out a little bit. Balance for a moment. And then we'll come back to shoulder widths. Remember, always keep that gentle softness in the knee. We're going to push down one palm up, and then we're just going to give that gentle lean over. So it's like you're squeezing an orange or a lemon there. So we get that stretch here into the rib cage, into the armpit, and then stand tall and then swap. Lengthen first and then squeeze and lengthen. So you're breathing in here and then just breathing in a little bit more there and then breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And again, go with your breath. If you need to go slightly quicker, still keep it smooth. Let's do one more each side. And then take a rest. The thing particularly with that one at the side bend is the reason why we think about that rib cage to hip there, or pelvis, is so that we get the spine bending to the side rather than just the whole block bending to the side. So you really want to get that whole spine bending to the side and lengthen up first. So it's almost like you're creating space between each vertebra as you lengthen up and then go to the side, rather than just, oh, I'll just bend over, because then it's almost like you're compressing and leaning to the side. So it's really nice to lengthen up and then go to the side. It's always a nice one to do that one. Have a little shake out, shaking the wrists. And if you want to, you can tap your heels into the ground. And let's do a little bit of cleansing and clearing. And we're going to breathe out Take a nice full breath in and breathe out. Just letting go. So we're going to do that one more time, breathing in and out. And again, breath in. Letting go. Good old shake, 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 shake. And take a rest. Open up the shoulders. Feel tingling, tingling sensations. Letting the breath settle. Good. Let's just get a little reminder in terms of biomechanics of breath. So one of the things, as we've just done there, focused on the spine. So I always emphasize the strength and the flexibility of the spine in terms of breathing. It's often not thought about, it's often missed, but remember the rib cage is attached to the spine here. So if the spine is tight here, it's going to affect that whole rib cage area. So that's so important in terms of lengthening out this upper back, particularly as we get older, or if we're sitting a lot of the time at a desk here. If we get tight in that upper back, it affects how we breathe. So let's just bring our hands onto the lower ribs and see if you can lengthen out that upper back as well. So watch here that we're not thrusting the ribs forwards, that the ribs are staying in the body, but we're not tightening the shoulders. So get that head balanced on top of the spine. And you've got your fingers in the back of the ribs. That's quite nice to get your fingers in the back of the ribs there. And let's just take slow, fuller breaths in, just to exaggerate that movement of the ribs. So can you breathe into your hands? So as you're breathing in, pushes the hands out to the side. So you feel that resistance in the ribs as you're pushing your hands out to the sides. And as you breathe out, ribs sink back in. So a slightly fuller breath in. See if you can swing those ribs out to the side. And it doesn't have to be a big movement. And then as you breathe out, ribs come back in. Just keep the breath slow so we don't start to feel lightheaded. Do maybe one or two more. This is just awareness. This is just really bringing that focus to the movement that you feel there. And then take a rest. Shake your hands out a little bit if you need to. What we've got to be aware of as well, because we can often pay a lot of attention here and think diaphragm, but remember also that as we breathe in, even if we just breathe a light volume of air, there's still movement here in the upper chest. So there's a difference between breathing in and pulling in everything here and using all these like accessory breathing muscles and tightening the neck muscle, as opposed to that spine lengthening a little bit. It's very subtle because we're not doing big movements, but as you breathe in, that spine sort of like extends, and feel that little, almost like a little bit of space here. So I just want you to pop your hands here, either side of the sternum, and just feel as you're breathing in, almost like a little bit of space there, a little bit of movement there, because we can get very tight here in this upper chest. But I don't want everything to pull up here. I still want to just feel sort of like movement, and think of it as the spine lengthening. And actually pressing in there, or just putting a little bit of pressure there, is quite nice, because you can feel. So this is the reason when we do spinal cord breathing that we're doing this movement, because we're extending the spine, we're extending that thoracic spine and opening up the chest. So when we're breathing lightly, we're still doing that in micro movements. And then we're just going to come a bit lower down, so find your belly button. And then I'm just using my fingers like that. Go below the belly button, about 3 fingers below the belly button. Put a little bit of pressure here on the lower abdominals. And see if we can breathe and feel very subtle movement here. So as you're breathing in, the diaphragm is moving down. It's creating what we call intra-abdominal pressure. And it's gently pushing the fingers out. You'll feel that, because you're putting pressure in, you'll feel the fingers being pushed out as you're breathing in. So we're breathing down. And what you might have come across when you've been watching some like maybe Qigong breath work is you can focus on belly, ribs, and then chest. And it's that whole wave breathing where you think, I can feel it down in the belly, I can feel it in the ribs, and I can feel it in the chest. So that's a nice way of thinking about that nice deep breath, but it doesn't have to be big. You don't have to breathe a massive big breath of air into your body. So think of belly, ribs, and then chest. And if you just need to have that little bit of a feedback, just use the areas where maybe you're not feeling it as much. So belly, ribs, and think of ribs. When we're thinking ribs, we're thinking back as well. So it's not just sides, back of the ribs. And then chest. So it's almost like micro movements of spinal cord breathing. And just stay with that for a few moments. Almost imagine that you're doing the spinal cord breathing, but you're just doing it really small. Good, and take a moment, and then we're going to do completely contrast to that. So there we were just breathing light, softly, slowly, deeply, just letting the body breathe naturally, which was fine because we're just standing, we're in a standing resting posture. What we're going to do now is a little bit more active exhale. So when you're doing the light breathing, you'll notice that most of the let go or the exhale is a bit of a let go. It's just natural breath out. So you've almost just got the pressure of the air outdoors or outside of your body creating the breath. You don't have to do any active breathing. So here we're going to do an active exhale. So just as I said at the very beginning of the session, if you're pregnant, if you've got high blood pressure, low blood pressure, any cardiovascular issues, just either do this very gently or just stay with gentle, light, soft breathing, because it is stressing the body, it is stressing the cardiovascular system. We'll start off just standing shoulder width apart. And I want you to almost like imagine that you're blowing a candle out. So we'll take a slightly fuller breath in, and then just gently through the mouth, long breath out. So I want you to feel as you're exhaling, as you're breathing out, as you breathe in, the diaphragm moves down, you're bringing the diaphragm back up to its resting posture. So it's almost like you're pulling a lot of the time you can focus on navel to belly button to spine. I want you to think a little bit deeper than that. You're bringing that diaphragm back up. And then just let's do a couple more of those. So breath in through the nose. And breath out. That breath out can be as long as you need. Breath in through the nose, the breath just naturally flows back in through the nose then. And breath out. Do one more breath in, breath out. It's almost like you're squeezing as much air out now. And then the breath just naturally flows back in. And then just take a rest. So we're actively exhaling, we're using that diaphragm to almost like push the air out, squeeze the air out. But even when we're doing that, it's not forced. Remember, if you're blowing a candle out, if you go, it's just going to go all over the place. It's still very deliberately controlled, and even though it's more active and more powerful, it's still controlled and purposeful. We're going to do the same thing, we're going to do it a little bit quicker, and we're going to do it in our water buffalo position. So we take our feet shoulder width apart, we take the hips back, and then we just dangle the arms in front. We lift that chest a little bit. So I'm just going to show you from the side. I'm taking the hips back as if I'm going into a squat, or if I'm going to go and sit down. I let my arms dangle in front, but I keep that chest lifted. I'm not down here. Keep that upper back, that upper spine lengthened, and I'm in this position here. Now, if you want to make it a bit more challenging, you can go a little bit deeper. If you want to make it a little bit easier, you can just gently rest on the thighs. Again, just take this really easy. It will get your heart rate up a little bit, so don't force it, don't push it. In this position, so we're doing sharp, quick blowing out of the candle. You're pulling in the diaphragm. Then we'll do a long exhale. Pause at the bottom of that exhale. So pause the breath. And then when you're ready, Gently breathing in through the nose. Breathing out. So we're now just balancing out that active breath with some very light, soft, easy breathing. So it's like we're stretching the nervous system. We're putting our nervous system into fight or flight, a little bit of active breath, and then we're just balancing it out with some calming, relaxing rest and recovery. And then take a rest there. We'll do that again. So let's go for 10 quick, sharp breaths using the diaphragm, active breaths. You don't have to think about breathing in, it naturally flows back in. Then we'll do one really long exhale, so you're squeezing as much air out as possible. When you get to that bottom of the long exhale, we pause the breath for as long as is comfortable. Again, don't necessarily follow me, don't follow people on the screen. When you get to that point where you go, yeah, that's fine, that's my comfortable pause, then you come back up. So I want you to all go at your own time. You don't have to follow me into that calming breath, because everybody's going to feel that comfortable pause different. But we can all do the 10 quick, sharp breaths quickly together. Then we do one more breath, everything out, pause, and then that next breath in, slowly coming up. Just take your time when you're coming up again, because there's that big change in, there can be a change in blood pressure, so just take it really easy. Remember, this is stressing the system. So into your water buffalo position. Lift that chest here so we've got the spine nice and long. Using the diaphragm, let's go 10. Next one, long exhale. Squeeze it all out when you get to the very end of that breath. Pause. Relax into the pause. All go at your own time. Breath in. This is really calming, slow, easy breath. Shouldn't be stressful. And then we're just going to finish off with some bamboo in the wind. So interlocking your thumbs, resting on the lower abs, bringing your feet together. Just closing your eyes, letting your body gently rock and sway, spiral. Taking now a calm, fuller breath in through the nose, filling belly, ribs and chest, and then stepping out, opening your eyes. And then gentle brush down. Good, hopefully that has got us set up and motivated and activated and energized for our day and week ahead. I will see you on Wednesday. We'll be doing that little bit more floor work on Wednesday for the hips. So if you've got a mat, you can bring along a mat, but just be aware that we'll do a little bit of work on the floor to start with. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you Wednesday. Take care. Bye.